Yeah.
So Finn the Magician.
Finn the Magician.
Finn the Magician.
The one and only.
That's fun to say. So is Finn short for something?
It is not short for anything. Finn. Okay. That's something I'm also asked a lot. So my parents actually, it was like 2 hours before I was born. They had a Celtic baby name book.
Okay.
And they were like, oh, Finn's a good name. Oh, all of a sudden my mom's in labor. Yeah, let's go with Finn. She didn't want a name that could be shortened.
Okay.
She wasn't a big fan of names that could be shortened.
Because I know there's like maybe Phineas or...
Oh, no, there's
or
a Finley or Finnegan.
Yeah,
no, there's a lot of them.
Okay.
But no, I'm just Finn. Finn the Magician.
Finn the Magician.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm excited to have you here because I was telling my wife, like, I want to have a magician on our podcast. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then, like, maybe a couple of days later, you message me. He's like...
It's like he was
mind
reading his
reads
mind.
too.
Yeah.
First trick of the night.
Yeah.
First trick of the night.
I was like, wow, we got to have this guy on.
Yeah, first trick of the night. It was really good, right?
Yeah.
So we're off to a good start.
It was great.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is, once I started in the last year or so, like doing more networking in like the local Salem areas, like, the Salem business builders starts following me and mutual connections and stuff. So all of a sudden now it's like in a year, there's people who I'm getting to know who are like, movers and shakers in Salem.
Yeah.
And it's cool because I've been doing this for so long. However, it's, it's not something that I really go out and I've like been a big name in Salem. So it's fun to be able to do.
And I never knew there was a magician in Salem.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm the only one.
You're the only one?
Yeah.
Nobody else?
Oh, yeah.
You go to company events and you're like, oh, they brought in the magician. Like, but you don't think about where this
like,
guy
where
came
does
from.
the magician come from?
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing too, because it's crazy. I'm getting there. I go as far north as Seattle, as I go out east to Bend, and then I go down south to Eugene area, like a little further south. Roseburg, Ashland, I would go, but they don't really have events out there. And it always is. I have mentors though who, I'm going to be in Philadelphia tomorrow, and then I'm going back to Vegas. And I'm doing a show in Vegas, not like a Vegas Strip, but they're doing like a corporate event in Vegas.
So like magician type mentors.
Yeah, magician mentors.
Oh, okay.
So I have there's in the Oregon, Southern Washington area, I would think that there's like 5 guys, including myself, who are kind of like, I guess, big name magicians, like, corporate event magicians and stuff. And all of them I either consider a friend or a mentor. I'll shout out, Hart Keen, Craig Martin, Scott Anderson. I mean, these guys are, and Greg Moreland I live with, he's like a cruise ship magician. I live with a cruise ship, like a world-renowned cruise ship magician.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people in Salem wouldn't know that because he's in Salem for like 2 months out of the year at most.
Yeah.
Because he's on ships. And these guys are all really great. They're all great because they give me, Finn, you're doing good. And then they also give me the feedback I need. And I don't want it, but I need it.
You don't want it, but they're
I don't want it, but I need it. As long as there isn't like, as long as they're good, good intention, there's good intentions behind it, then,
Is it
I
kind of stuff that normal people wouldn't even think about calling you out on it because they wouldn't see it, but other magicians see it.
Oh yeah, no, there's a good example of it. There was Hart Keen, I think. There's no way for me to decipher like who's number one in Oregon. We're all successful, but I think he's the cream of the crop as far as I'm concerned. He's a great guy. Been on America's Got Talent. He's been on like the CW and he's all that stuff. So, and he gives great advice. And I was talking to him one time about a gig I did, and it was like a big gig. It was like 250 people or something like that. And I started doing it, and the event started at 5. At 5:30, my stage show, if you guys have been to those company parties or whatever, they have like an hour-long cocktail social hour at the beginning. And I didn't realize at the time, I pushed back on it a little bit, but I didn't realize how detrimental it was going to be to start at 5:30 because I had like 150 people sitting watching me, and I had 100 people in the back, and it was like zoo animals. And it just really throws you off.
Yeah.
So
it's like chaos.
The people who hired me, they were like, you did great, that was awesome. And I was like, yeah, there's a lot of people talking in the back. Like, oh, don't worry about it. It was wonderful, this, that, and the other. They're not, I say that to him. We start talking on the phone. And not even 2 minutes into it, I say, yeah, so I started my stage show at 5:30, and the event started at 5. He's like, whoa.
What are you doing?
At 5, and he's a really animated guy in general. And he's like, 5:30? He's like, that's the kiss of death. He's like, what are you doing? He's kind of saying, like, what are you doing? Yeah. And it was, and I deserved that. It was a deserved thing.
So you're supposed to start it later.
You typically the perfect for a corporate magician like myself who does company parties, corporate events, you do there's cocktail social hour for an hour and a half, typically. You know, you let people come in and get their coats off and stuff, like for a half an hour. And then about a half an hour in, that's when the majority of the party will be there. I do roaming magic where you get the crowd riled up. You do cocktail card tricks and stuff like that. Intimate stuff.
Yeah.
Right under their nose. Then they go and eat, and I take a break because the last thing you want is people to be gasping at amazement while they have food in their mouth. And
maybe you do. I don't know.
Yeah. I'll practice. I'll make sure I have my Heimlich maneuver on point. But no, they have. And then people don't want to be bothered while they're eating. So then now everybody is sitting down, kind of like my issue I was mentioning to you about the 100 people in the back.
Yeah.
I'm sitting. Everyone. It's not like herding cats where people don't want to sit down. They want to be social. People are sitting down at that point. They're getting dessert. Maybe they'll go off with they'll have like the owner of the company or the CEO or whatever get up and speak and for 10 minutes, and then I get on to like the after dinner entertainment.
Sure.
And that's the ideal corporate event environment. So most of them, that's kind of the typical flow of it. You never know. Some things there are very every event's different, but typically speaking, that's how it goes.
And you do like big corporate events, and you do like small like gathering stuff.
Yeah, so I do. So what I do is I do house parties. I do corporate events for Fortune 500 companies. I everything in between. So obviously, if I'm performing in Salem, typically you're not going to have huge corporate events happening in Salem, but then you're going to have like in Portland or up in Seattle or something like that. That's when you'll have FedEx or UPS or Providence Health, something like that, or a couple to name, and they will bring me in, and then that's a bigger event.
Do you enjoy doing like the smaller, like intimate type events, or do you like the big shows?
I like them both. But they're very different. And it's funny because for instance, the cruise ship magician I mentioned, Greg Moreland, he and I talked about this a bit, and he likes the bigger crowds, and his crowds are like hundreds more than I've ever performed for. And he's on a cruise ship, like 600, 800 people, and when the bigger the crowd is, the more it just becomes all of you and then me. It's like I like that more. There's all of you and there's me, and that there's something to be said about that. That's really good for like crowd control, because when you get down to 20, 30 people, you definitely can have it where now everybody's kind of still an individual.
Yeah.
But then once you get up 100 plus, that's when it's like you really stand out in the wrong way if you start hooting and hollering during the magician's show when it gets to be a big crowd.
I can see where you're walking the crowds and you're doing tricks, but then people are like, there was a magician there? Because he was on the other side of the room, and everybody's so packed in, they didn't realize it.
And that's with the cocktail hour, it's hard to hit everybody up.
Yeah.
A lot of times I like to try to, they ask me how many people, I try to get as many people as I can, and you can just do basic math where it's like, okay, there's about, you see the tables of people starting to form and stuff. Okay, there's 20 tables, and then I have like an hour to perform. I got myself a solid couple, like 3 minutes at each table. You just do basic math, and you can be able to, I hope the wine didn't make me do that math wrong, but it's like, but you just go and it's just close up, quick stuff. And then that way too, when I get on stage, there's a face to the name, and I can and I can get an idea of who's a good person to bring up on stage with me.
Okay.
Because, and it's a really hard skill to master where I bring somebody up on stage for what might be a 10 minute spot, and they're not, they're terrified, like, it's like, oh shoot. And that's not on them. It's not like, I can't go, oh, well,
like, are you going to be a good person if I pull you up?
Yeah.
Be good?
Well, if I say, I've done this before. This was one of my first stage shows. I was like, I need a volunteer. By a show of hands, who wants to come up on stage? Yeah, nobody's going to come up on stage. Even if I'm like the nicest guy in the world, nobody wants to come up on stage with me. Yeah. And so that's where you kind of volunteer people. Oh, I need a volunteer. Hey, you come up. Everyone give them a round of applause, and then they come up on stage. But it's a matter of finding the right person, because I don't really like to make fun of people in my show. Some magicians do. I don't. But when I'm doing it, sometimes you just find the right or the wrong people. And the only thing that's worse than having like a bad participant on stage is having a bad participant on stage, and then you're like, oh, well, you're a bad participant, go away, and then get somebody else up there. So you just got to kind of roll with it.
Yeah.
A lot of learning. Magic and performing in general. It's
so
just
you get really good at reading people. Then.
You get a good sense of reading people. If I pick up the vibe that somebody can take a joke, I will poke fun a little bit at them. Sure, like you have to read the room. Some people love making fun of me, and I make fun of myself, and I make fun of them, and people want me to do that.
Sure.
But typically, in the majority of company party situations, you have to make sure it's HR friendly.
Yeah.
And you don't want to make fun of people. Next thing I know, I'm making fun of the CFO.
The CEO.
Yeah. And it's like
never have this guy back again.
I did a trick. There's one trick that I do in my show where somebody comes up on stage and they read cue cards and they have like a magic hat on and we make up a stage name for them and stuff like that. And it was kind of like the perfect person who's kind of a bigwig at the company, and it was like the director of HR. And it's like, and then so there's all these jokes being made about, oh, okay, yeah, well, see, now I know if like I get a call from you to have a meeting next Monday, I know what it's going to be about. You want to hear my jokes again because they were so funny and stuff like that. But it's a lot of, you just have to know your audience, and that all just comes with time. Because I look at I record all my shows. I have like a GoPro and I record all my shows, and I mean, if I'm feeling advantageous, like I'll go back to like, when I started doing stage shows in 2021 and I'll watch those, and that's just a few years ago.
Yeah.
And, oh man, it can be a little cringeworthy, it's like I've grown a lot. I've got my stage presence since then, but, cause I've been doing close-up magic since 2010, like professionally since 2017, but as a hobby in general since 2010. So I've gotten my, my flight time, and when I'm doing it, like a stage show, as a new stage performer, and I'm way too invested in like the people in the front row because I'm a close-up performer. I'm more used to interacting, and I'm not playing big to everybody else. And that's something that definitely takes time. It all just takes time. It all takes a lot of time, and that's a good thing.
You do a lot of card tricks.
I do a lot of card. So I started with card tricks. Obviously, in the intro, you saw the money thing, and I do a lot of card tricks. That's what it started. That's where I started. So
here's some video. This one's called Finn the Magician, Insane Card Illusion. So can you walk us through what this one's going to be?
Sure. So this was one where I had somebody named for me an ace, and I grabbed it. I had a red ace on top, and then I think they named the ace of clubs, and I had this red ace. So then I shook it, and then you'll see what happens. So you can see that there's the we have the red ace here, and I said to him, let's not use the ace of hearts. Let's use another ace. Like,
okay.
Give me one of the other ones. And I think they named the ace of clubs. So I'm holding it, and they have a wand, and I just swing it, and then you can see it changes into the ace of clubs. And then, if you hold the wand again, that was just an illusion. And
Wait, what?
I did not have a beard at the time, and probably 10 pounds lighter.
The beard looks good.
I like the beard. And well, so here's the funny thing. I actually had a beard. I grew a pretty big beard last year, and then I got a pair of clippers for Christmas, and I tried to trim it, and I was gonna do like a significant trim,
yeah,
and because I never had a beard like you, Brian, but
I've cut a little too deep sometimes. Oh. Like, now I gotta get matched on the other side.
Exactly, and what I did, it was kind of stupid at the end of the day. Oh yeah, so here, see, I have the beard there.
So this one, signed cards fold up in the.
So this was actually, so every magician knows in magic we call it, this is Hell Week. It's the first week of June, and this is when we're nocturnal because we're doing a bunch of lock-in all-night grad parties. Okay. And so this was
it's floor magic.
Yeah,
it's floor magic.
So anyway, there's a signed playing card, and I picked the wrong card, and I was gonna give them some money. However, if you look underneath, I have my wallet that's been... My wallet was sitting out there the whole time, by the way. You can see there is a folded-up playing card underneath my driver's license.
That's crazy.
And the thing is, too, because it could be any duplicate, but the thing is they wrote their name on it. I think all good card tricks have a name writing on it at some point in time. So then her name, I think you can see it on there. She's...
That would blow my mind.
Oh, they kept... Yeah, you can see it written on there. So they... That was actually one of the... There was a pretty big crowd behind them, too. But, man, they were following me around. the kids are the like 18-year-olds and stuff talk about a fun. I wish all magic shows I did were for that crowd, because they like try to like out freak each. They like they want to have like a David Blaine reaction.
Oh yeah,
they want to get out of my head. No, so they're a really fun crowd.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so
that's awesome.
But then you get you get pretty tired. I remember that night in particular. That was for Central High School in Independence.
So this was like one of those lockdown ones?
Yeah.
So you're locked in with teenagers all night?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
For the whole night?
Yeah. Well, like for this, I think the lock-in, like it starts at 10:30, and then I went home like 4.
Wow.
So yeah.
Our daughter graduates next year, and
what school?
Regis.
Oh, Regis. Oh,
yeah,
okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So when we're planning for the all-night party.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Throw somebody's name out.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, yeah, I can't wait for that.
Oh, yeah. No, thank you. No, trust me. It was that night in particular, because you do a handful. You can't do a lot of them, but you do a handful of them for, some people like my mentors I mentioned. They're like, how was your grad party season? They're like, yeah, I went to North Bend, and then I went up to Bend, and then I went to
this is like
Vancouver.
a thing.
This is a common. We all have our busy seasons.
Okay.
We all have our busy seasons. There's June is just busy for whatever reason. Obviously, with the first week of the year, magicians get hired a lot for grad parties, whether it be like at-home grad parties or whether it be these lock-in grad parties.
You have like wedding season too?
Wedding season's a really big one. I'm actually a part of the wedding professional group here in the Willamette Valley. I know a couple of great wedding entertainers and
making grooms disappear.
If they deserve it.
Family members disappear.
Oh yeah, well that's actually I've had a few times where during magicians can be a great kind of passive way of getting good vibes at a wedding, because there can be weird vibes at weddings.
Yeah.
And you hope it doesn't happen, but I can just come in, hey, I don't know what you were, that weird conversation you were just having, see a card trick or see a coin trick or whatever. But so yeah, June and July, wedding season and wedding receptions and stuff, because people are sitting around with glasses of wine like this, and they're like, so how do you know the bride? And how do you? So it's like you just come in there during as soon as the ceremony's over. Some weddings they will do like a lot of photos, like the bride and the groom do like an hour's worth of photos after the ceremony. So this is just a good energy. It's like a good kind of flows with your event.
I wouldn't have thought of that first.
That would have been awesome.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing too with close-up magic in general, it's really cool because it really flows with. You tell me, show me the room you're in, show me how many people you have, and tell me how long you need me to perform for, and I'm going to do it. It's not like you have a bunch of contingencies with a stage show. There's a little bit more like a tech writer. You have like contingencies that you need to follow. But with the close-up magic, it just melts on and molds to whatever your event's like. And that's with like grad parties and with wedding receptions and stuff. I can just flow with whatever they got going on.
So is this like riding a bike? Once you learn a trick, do you know it forever, or do you have to practice it all the time?
Oh, good question. That's a good question. No, you 100% just know how to do it. And
like forever and ever.
Oh, yeah. No, I could probably... I've actually had dreams before... Not often. This isn't like... I'm not going to lie and say it was like often. But I've had dreams before where I'm performing a trick. Like that I've... I would say like I have a stable of probably 3 tricks that I've performed well over 1,000 times. And then there's like a couple that are kind of just below that. They're maybe going to get into the 1,000 club here in the next year or two. And then, of course, you're breaking in new material all the time. And you always get where you get, like, let's say I have a great trick I know, drunk upside down backwards. I know those tricks. I'll do that trick. Then I'll do a trick that nobody's ever maybe seen, like that I haven't performed much. So if it's a hit, great. If it's a miss, then I go on to something else that I've done for years. So you kind of hammock it in between good tricks.
It's almost like comedy. You try out new material, it doesn't work.
And then you go into your home run material. Yeah. So yeah, that's easier to do in a close-up environment. I've screwed up and dropped cards and, is this your card? No. Is this your card? No. It's like, okay, I'm lost. And and then like that's easier to do in a close-up magic environment. But then when you're on stage, I mean, there's a bit more to it because you can sometimes find like an open mic night or something like that where there's no pressure. It's not like you have a paycheck on the line or anything like that. But trying new material out, you kind of have to do it on the fly. You have to do it live. Yeah. So it can be it can definitely be daunting at times. You know, like I'm doing a trick that I know well and I've done well, but then I know like right around the corner in the next 20 seconds or 30 seconds, I'm going into this bit that I've never performed before on stage.
Yeah.
Or, well, I've performed it, but I haven't like, this is the first time I've done this in a live show. But you just got to power through it.
So, starting out, it's probably the hardest time in your career is when you first started out.
So let me tell you about how I started. But
I was going to say, how'd you get into this?
Yeah, so I got into this. I was up in Seattle for my brothers and I all played football in high school. We went to West Salem High School, and we were all obsessed with the NFL, and we wanted to go see an NFL game, and we were up there for the weekend, and we were going to go see the Seahawks play at the Falcons, I think, and it was at the Pike's Place Market. I don't know if you guys have ever been there, but Pike's Place, and there was a magician up there. And it's funny because I'm friends with this guy now, but at the time, little did I know, his name is Brian Masters. Kind of like what I do now. He was doing it back then, and he actually lives in Ohio, but he traveled around, and he would. So his whole thing was when he wasn't doing a paid corporate event or whatever the case is, he would be like doing street magic, and he had like a beginner's DVD.
Okay.
So my brothers actually come over to me, and I don't know what I'm looking at. I'm looking at something random. Like, Finn, you got to come see this. They saw this guy before I did, and they're like, Finn, you got to come see this guy. And I had no idea what they were talking about. I come and see him, and he's doing card tricks kind of on a felt like this, and it just blew my mind. In magic, they call it getting bit by the bug.
Yeah. When
you get, like, what the moment that gets you hooked on magic forever. And it was with him.
This was in high school?
I was a 16-year-old in high school. It was 2010, yeah. So.
I would have pegged you as like, okay, my mom got me a magic set
That's
when I was
what
like
I thought. Like you
6
get into
years
it when
old.
you're little.
The majority of people, I can't tell you how many people I've had, and it's just so common where, eventually when I have kids, especially being a magician, I guarantee they'll be into magic, at least for a little bit. But with magic, it's like the majority of people, you get like my parents bought the DVD for me because it was like close to Christmas. It was like right before Christmas. And the majority of people, they pick up a sleight of hand playing card magic DVD and they realize, oh wait, it's sleight of hand. It's not like there's no button to press. It's not like you buy a trick deck and it does all the work for you. Yeah. You have to practice and you have to learn it. And I'm one of like the 100 people, like all professional magicians are, who as soon as they found out kind of how like the sleight of hand works, it just made it infinitely cooler. And then so the rest is history. And then I start learning it on YouTube and from kids who are better than me. But that eventually transitions into buying official, legitimate projects like that professional magicians put out. Like, hey, do you want to be a professional magician? Here's tricks to learn.
So when you do have kids and you go to career day at school, you're gonna kill it.
I'm gonna probably I pity the person who has to follow me.
Oh yeah.
Unless like the person following me is like my
accountants probably.
Or like the person following me is like, oh yeah, like my mom's Taylor Swift. Oh okay, well in that case she's fine. But it's like there's
firefighter. That's boring. This guy gets tricks.
Yeah, no, say that. What he's a rock and roll astronaut? Oh, boring. I want to see the magician. No, it's career day will be whenever that happens. It'll be a good one. It's it's a lot of fun, and that's like people. So what do you do for work? If I'm at a social hour or whatever, I'm at a bar. People are like, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I'm a magician. And they're like,
so you have to keep a deck of cards with you at all times, basically.
Yeah, you kind of do. Yeah, you do. That's one of the and a Sharpie because then you got to write your name on it.
Yeah,
but you definitely have. You have to have more pocket space for the playing cards.
Yeah. But
then people, when I say, "Oh, you're a magician," I'm like, "Yeah," like, or they'll say, like, "What do you say, musician?" Or people ask me, like, "What instrument do you play?" I'm like, "No, I said magician." So it's not something most people haven't seen a magician in their life. Yeah. So it's.
I was saying I've never seen one in like
the
this
last
close.
time we went and saw like a magician. And it's a little hazy because it was, I think, Las Vegas. I'm not sure if we actually saw it.
I wonder why. No wonder it was hazy.
Was it the Chris Angel one?
Chris Angel. Yeah. It could be we walked by a Chris Angel, like, poster.
Yeah.
Drunk, and we thought.
No, we actually went. We went to the show. I don't know that it was Chris Angel. It was something.
It was I think it was.
Yeah,
because
right.
I think it was the Mind Freak thing.
Yeah.
No, that's Chris Angel, all right. Yeah. So no, he's really magicians like to make fun of him almost, and
no way.
It's just, I don't know. It's like because he's like, I'm a mind freak now. Pick a playing card. It's like I don't know. That's just not. I've never been a big fan of the freaky, edgy kind of magic, But the thing is, we're talking about him. He's not talking about me. So it's like he. So I have, and he also does like a lot of fundraising and stuff for like cancer research and like children's cancer research. So it's kind of a joke to make fun of Chris Angel, but it's at the end of the day,
it was entertaining, but I wouldn't call it magic. It was so much.
See what was going on a lot.
There's so much lights and stuff like that. I really enjoy like the street magician type stuff where you can get up close, and it's more like a skill. It's not like you don't have a production going on. It's not like camera tricks or anything like that.
That's with like Chris Angel, and there's a lot of other guys who might fall into this, like David Copperfield. Yeah. He's like the king of magic. And he has a crew of, I'm guessing, like 100+ people working for him.
I remember back in the 90s, they'd have the shows on TV. They would hype up like this, I'm going to walk across the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
And then for the whole hour, they would hype it up, and then you do it, and it's like you see some guy really far away.
Yeah.
It's like,
the Great Wall of China. Or the big one, he made the Statue of Liberty disappear. That was he's actually doing another one of those, I think in like a month. He's going to make the moon move.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like, but when you see that kind of stuff, to me personally, I love David Copperfield for what he's done for magic, because he really made magic cool, and so I'm on the standing on the shoulders of the giants. But if you're going to be doing like a big production stage show, you have to really go all out. And I haven't seen his show in person, but I've seen clips of it. I mean, the guy like opens the show by like there's like an empty box, and people from the stage or like the audience come up and see it. And, like, they're all investigating, and it looks like it's a normal box. It's not like there's a trapdoor below it or anything. Then they close it, and boom, all of a sudden, he's sitting on, like, a motorcycle that's revving with, like, his beautiful stagehand assistants on the motorcycle with him. So, if you're going to have, like, a big production show, which I understand there's, like, a little bit of a disconnect, because, you just think that there's something to do with the boxes, or there's something to do with the stage, or there's assistants in the background or helping with it. But if you go all out, that you got to just go all out.
It's almost like it's overload, because it seems like we've come full circle with it. People, you do face-to-face stuff.
Yeah.
And then it came into, we're going to do this on TV. We're going to do this, big shows with lights and lasers and all that. Yeah. And people get desensitized to it because they see movies, they see CGI, and it's like, it doesn't really impress me. And then they see it in person again. And then that blows their mind, because, like, how'd you do that? There's no CGI. How'd you do that? I mean, how'd you do that quick, or where did the card go?
In the era of technology, it's really, to have something authentic and, like, acoustic, I guess you could say, like magic in front of you is really, people like it. People dig it. And it's just, like, it's a great form of entertainment, I think, for, like, a company party, when I perform at these company parties, because a lot of times, who wants to... I've had people say, we're going to hire a DJ for like a company party.
Yeah.
I don't know about any of you guys, but I think the idea of dancing in front of my coworkers sounds like an absolute nightmare. If you've ever seen the show Seinfeld, it's like, when Elaine's dancing in front of her coworkers, that's like, that's
what you picture.
Yeah, or like hypnosis is another one that I've had people say is like a great thing for a corporate event. I'm like, it's not bad. It's better than a DJ, but... Yeah. The whole premise of a hypnotist is you get up on stage, you get hypnotized, and then hypnotists don't take you up there to make you look cool. They get hypnotized, and you start doing stuff that's ridiculous. So I think that a magician, like somebody who's a professional magician who knows you don't want to just go up and make fun of people and stuff like that, it's a great service to offer for people who are trying to put on a really memorable show
and connect with the audience.
And again, the vast majority of the magicians, the ones I named earlier that I know, none of us go up and just mock people. It's like you have wit and stuff like that, but you want to have everybody feel involved, because if it's just me up on stage doing cool things without any audience interaction, like where they make choices and stuff like that, people aren't going to remember, Finn the magician was reading people's minds. They're going to remember, remember Sally, she thought of a cat, and Finn knew what it was.
Yeah, my initials are on the card.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff like that, where it's like really personable to people. So that's where I think that magic is a great form of entertainment for like, a discerning, like a sophisticated audience, so to speak.
Sure.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. And then with that being said, I do kids shows and stuff too, and a lot more, that kind of stuff's a lot more pie in the face, kind of, like if
slapstick sort of.
Yeah, if clowns weren't creepy, like a clown is great for like no, clowns are creepy. But the thing is, clowns used to not be creepy. Back in like 50 years ago, clowns were a very great form of family entertainment.
Paintings up in your house of clowns.
Well, if I was doing a magic show for like an 8-year-old, I did a kids party. I did a party with a bunch of kids like in the end of December, and if I was like floating around the room with fire bolts coming out of my eyes and stuff, is like, and then I got like hit in the face with like a pie, the kids would remember the pie in the face.
Yeah.
They just like, it's more funny.
Yeah.
So they're very different markets and stuff like that, but I'm obviously biased, but magic I think is is great for any age range.
Yeah, the only magic I know for my kids is the detachable thumb. And
yeah.
Or the wavy
I got
pencil.
Yeah. Well, that's when you say you do the detachable thumb and you say, here, you try now, pull my finger.
Yeah.
No, so, that's great. Yeah, no, so magic, yeah, it's been a long road, like a fun road. Not everybody has the ability to say, because, I know you guys are doing what you love for your profession. There's a lot of people who do what they love for their profession. But it's like, if money wasn't an object, I know the majority of people, if they won the Powerball tomorrow, they wouldn't do their day job. And that's fair, the majority of people. But I'm in the 1%, thankfully, of people who, if I won the lottery tomorrow, sure, I wouldn't be doing big corporate events and stuff like that, but I would be my life would just be dedicated to sipping margaritas on a beach and doing magic for people. Yeah, it's like it's like my hobby it's like somehow my job,
Yeah.
So
and this is full time, or you're moving towards this?
Moving towards full time. I do so I'm also a web designer and I do IT, and it's like that we can talk about that too, like the kind of how you can hustle and do it well. But it's like I do web design. I went to school at Chemeketa for web design, and there's a company formerly Third River Marketing in town, also now we're local. The Fondricks, if anybody from Salem watching knows who those guys are, and I worked with them for a couple years, and so I do web design and stuff like that, and I'll probably always do that a little bit, but magic, I'm working towards this being my full-time thing, because who doesn't like a Friday, Saturday work schedule, and then sometimes Sunday.
Yeah.
Like, that's where all my gigs are.
Okay.
And then Monday through Thursday is your weekend.
So when we were first working, we started a photo booth.
Oh, okay.
And so we did a photo booth for years and years ago for a while, and we hated it.
We liked it at first.
We liked it at first,
and
and then it got into like
those are big ones at gigs. Big ones at gigs.
Yeah.
You see a lot of photo booths.
But then you start getting people that drink too much, and they fall back into the entire set, and you're like, doing this.
You're walking off with all your stuff. It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, there's and that's one of the nice things about what I do, because I mean, with a lot of other there's a lot of vendors, at events, and I'm one of the few that I think I leave without the collateral damage of lost glasses or broken photo booth equipment. If I have my AV equipment, I have my stage props, but I feel like it's kind of people don't even need to think about it. Okay, you see a magician's props up there. You don't go up and start playing with them and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, we didn't have that same experience. People would come up and like start trying to mess with everything.
Oh yeah. No, it's and a lot of times when I'm doing like the videos that we watched, a lot of times you do the like when I'm doing magic up close, it's like I have like a notepad on me. I have a deck of cards on me, stuff like that. You don't have a lot of items on you, and that's one of the things. If I could get away with just doing close-up magic, I would, because that, and I think I speak for a lot of magicians when I say that.
You just gotta show up with yourself and a deck of cards and a pen. That's it.
Yeah, it's like, oh sweet, like when I'm doing the event planner, whoever it might be, they're gonna be like emailing the DJ and like, hey, how much time do you need, and this, that, and the other. It's like, hey, there's gonna be the door will be open at 3 for like the 5 o'clock start time and stuff, and they're all having to set up their equipment, and I'm like, I mean, I do show up early. I like to get a feel for the place. I like to settle in and relax, but I could realistically show up at like 5, like, 4:55 for a 5 o'clock start time. It wouldn't be good, but I could do it, and everything's just on me. So
you got a deck of cards there. I've been eyeing this deck of cards.
I know, yeah, no, because you're waiting to see how things work. So well, yeah, let's go ahead and do a couple things. So I'll actually let me see if I can show you guys. Well, first off, before we even get going, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but we have that up there, Carrie. I don't think you've seen that. So I had Brian put that deck of cards up there. You see, you guys have heard the term X marks the spot with your kids, whether you're playing, Treasure Island, or if you're in a corporate boardroom meeting. Yeah, X marks the spot's a term we've all heard before.
Yeah. Okay.
But no, I'll show you guys what the first trick that I ever learned. And Carrie, I'll have you help me out with this one.
Okay.
So
excited.
I know.
So this is going to be a litmus test, because a lot of people haven't seen playing cards before.
Okay.
And there's 4 suits. Obviously, you have all the values, but the suits are the clubs, hearts, spades, and the diamonds. So we're going to do a suit recognition test. Okay. So what one's that?
Spade.
The spade. Okay. So we're going to do this. Put the spade there. That's the hard one. What's
Club.
that? You're better than my mom's actually from Scotland, and she calls this, to this day, 13 years of magic, she calls this the clover.
The clover.
Yeah.
The three-leaf clover.
The clover. Yeah. So anyway, so we got those there, and the other 2 are literally, the hearts and the diamonds are the shape of the 2. So I don't want to belittle you with that. We're gonna guess heart or diamond. Which one do you want to pick? Which one do you think is in my? Which one do you think is in my right hand? You think that's a heart?
Yeah.
And that's a diamond?
Yeah.
Brian, do you agree?
Yes.
Okay. Agrees with his wife. Smart man.
I was gonna say smart guy.
Actually, I think you're wrong. That was the club, and that was the spade.
What?
That's crazy.
What the heck?
I was watching the whole time.
I was watching the whole time until I turned to look at you.
Isn't that weird?
That's crazy.
So, because a lot of
I want to say do it again, but
oh no, well yeah, well here no. So actually,
we can hit rewind.
No, so so here's the thing.
Like slow mo.
Do that again. It's funny you say that. So a lot of magicians, they fall into that trap where they say first time. The old trope in magic is first time's a trick, second time's a lesson. So you start to catch on how it's done.
Okay.
So I'm going to actually show you a trick though. That's a first time's a trick, second time's a lesson type thing.
Okay.
So we'll see if you can do it. We're not going to involve the aces, okay? Go ahead, Carrie, and just pick one. And it's important, make sure you show the camera so everybody at home can see.
Where do you want it at, Austin?
I'll look away. I've seen this trick before, so it doesn't matter.
You've seen this trick before.
Probably a couple hundred times. That was one of those ones that was near the 1,000 club. So, all right, so you got it? You guys got it?
Yeah.
All right, Austin, they got it? All right, cool. So go ahead. I'm going to cut the deck, and then just say stop when you're going to put it in that spot, okay?
Stop.
Put it here? Okay, so you got it?
Yeah.
Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. The thing that makes magic fun, and if you see your card, don't say anything. They're all the same or different on the front, and they're all the same on the back. The most common way that magic is done is pick a card, find your card, right?
Yeah.
So most people have seen a card trick where you pick a card and then the magician finds it. So I'm going to show you my version of that. But I'm going to also show you it not only how I'm going to find your card, I hope, but I'm going to show you how I find it. You see they're all red.
Yeah. How's that one?
So this is how I find your card. You saw it was a red back.
Yeah.
Now, everyone's seen it, but for the first time, Carrie, say out loud, what was your card?
Queen of clubs.
Like that?
How? How did you do that?
Isn't that crazy? It just changed color.
Well, so here's the thing. I'm going to go ahead and, well, like I said, first time's a trick.
Wait.
No, watch this. No, so Brian, I'm going to have you pick one.
Okay.
Okay? So, I'm going to go ahead and have, and you can see that they're all red on the back. So, no, there's no sticky or anything like that in there. So, Brian, what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you go ahead and pick another card, and we're going to do it again.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead and just say stop whenever you want to. Oh, I thought of those 2 cards.
Stop.
Good wine. You got it?
Okay.
You got it?
Yep.
Okay. So, you can see that ain't a blue back. That's a red back.
Yeah.
So, watch this. Like I said, they usually say first time's a trick, second time's a lesson. You see the blue card.
Where did he go?
Well, the blue card is already on the table. So you picked, what was it, the queen of clubs. And what was the one you picked, Brian?
It was 4 hearts.
4 of hearts?
Yeah.
Stop!
What?
How? Oh my gosh. I don't want to know.
What kind of trickery is this? This is we watched this. Is it underneath the pad? What is it?
How do you do it?
No, it's
What is happening?
But you can't. I mean, you can do it in a way where you do have. You see the blue. You can see the blue back. I mean, it's not like it.
Yeah.
No, it's. But here, go ahead and just snap. Can you snap? Okay, go ahead and you can see. I mean, it's gonna be ready.
What?
So yeah, no. So they're all red. It's not like I have a bunch of blue ones in it or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead. I want you guys to help me out with it. Actually, you know what? We're going to do that one after this. So have you guys ever, you've been to Vegas, so you were telling me you've been to Vegas.
Yeah.
So have you guys ever seen, like on Fremont, the game where they have like the 3 cups and like one is a pebble under it and they move them all around? Or if you've been to a baseball game, they have that, like the 7th inning stretch. Yeah. So in the real world, the way that game is typically played is called 3-card Monte. So in 3-card Monte, they have and you'll see why I'm pulling them out of my jacket versus, and I'll explain to you how this is done. So they have the 2 cards that are the same, like the empty cups, and then they have one that's like a key card. So you have like the queen you're going to follow, and then the 4s you don't want to follow them. And then you move them all around, and then you try to follow the queen. Make sense?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So, Carrie, you're going to make the final decision on this. Brian, you're the lifeline, like in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. You're the unlimited lifeline. You can advise Carrie, but Carrie makes the final decision on this. Okay?
I'm so scared.
You should be. No, you're good. Like I said, we're having fun. So I'm gonna always have one card, at least one card in my hand. I'm gonna have one card on the table. Okay. I will bring the other one out if we do a good job with just 2. I put the other one away so we can just work with 2. Okay. But if you don't get this one right, Carrie, I might go to Brian.
Okay.
So
that's all right.
So go ahead and follow the queen. Okay. Don't think I'm trying to fool you because I'm not. I really am keeping this super easy. You're gonna follow the queen. Okay. Is the queen on the table or is the queen in my hand?
Table.
And you are correct.
Okay.
Good job.
Thanks. Yay! I'm a magician now.
Yeah.
No.
Would you, so now that you got it right, you want to bet money on it?
No, I do not.
No, so
no.
that's the thing, is because magicians, when they, I'm jettisoning it, of course, but when you play this game, they make you win a few times, and you've had a couple drinks, and then you're feeling
a little cocky.
You're feeling, you have your friend, you know, they're in Vegas or they're on Bourbon Street in New Orleans or whatever, and they're feeling good about it.
Yeah.
And then they'll start putting money down, and that's when the sleight of hand takes place. So before I go any further, so my dad, he was in Oakland, California when he was in the military in 1979. He was at a Doobie Brothers concert at the Oakland Coliseum.
Okay.
And in the bathroom, there were 25 stalls. 24 stalls had doors on it. One of them at the end was ripped off, and there was a guy on the floor in the bathroom with cardboard, and he was doing this.
Okay.
And this is 79, keep in mind. My dad, obviously the details are a little hazy. It was a
Doobie Brothers.
It was a Doobie Brothers concert. But my dad's friend Eddie, drunk as a skunk, off his gourd, 3 sheets to the wind. He was doing this game. He won it a few times. He started, like I said, I mentioned it a few times. It was 1979.
Yeah.
He threw down a 20. He lost it. Double or nothing. He threw down a 40s. He lost it. He lost $60 in like 60 seconds. And it's like, I mean, back then, that's like a mortgage payment back then. So
that's crazy.
We're obviously not going to bet money on it, but I'm showing you kind of how the hustler works. See, they want you to win a few times and feel cocky, and then you start doing it. So now you're going to maybe get it, but if you don't, it's no problem because I'm trying to do sleight of hand. Okay? So you're going to follow the queen and not the 4. Okay? So watch this. Okay. I mean, easiest bet in the world. Where's the queen?
Table.
Like I said, that's why you never play this game.
What? I would have lost $20.
You would have. And then that's when I would have said double or nothing. So what they do now is they make it even more improbable that you're going to lose. So imagine if I'm going to put the 4 down, face down.
Okay.
So we're going to put the 4 face down. The card you're following is face up. And people think sleight of hand is all like fast moves and stuff. I mean, I like to think that I'm doing this pretty slow.
Yeah.
So point to the queen.
There.
Yeah.
In your hand. Yeah.
Yeah. And then point to it again.
In your hand.
And then go ahead and point to it one more time.
I don't want to. Yeah. I'm scared.
You have a right to be scared.
How? Stop.
That's insane.
How did you do that?
It's magic, Carrie.
I know, but I want to know
magic.
how.
It's real magic.
I will actually show you how I
Will
do
you
this
really?
one. I mean, in a sense, yeah. So which one's going into my pocket?
Queen.
Yeah, the queen. Again, you guys can confirm.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and put the queen in there. And now we just have the 4s, okay? So that's a 4, but people always think I'm doing some sleight of hand here when I turn the 4 face down. Carrie, I want you to grab that 4, only if you know that's a 4.
Okay.
There's no sticky stuff on
No.
it. Turn it over. Okay. It's still a 4, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we have a 4 here, and then we have the queen in my pocket, right?
Yeah.
Wrong. No, I already switched it. No, I already switched it. I thought you would have caught me there. I put the 4 in my pocket.
When did you put the 4 in your pocket?
Okay, so here's how I do this. Here's how
I feel like I'm drunk. I'm not even drinking.
That means I'm doing a good job.
Yeah.
So, Carrie, here's how I do this, okay? So the moral of the story, here, watch this.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you how I do this, okay? I mean, okay, fairest game in the world.
Yeah.
You know where the queen's at. And this is where people would put the house on the queen.
Yeah.
So the way I've been doing this whole time is I've been cheating. I have more than 3 cards.
Where'd it go?
In my pocket.
How was it in your pocket? It was just out here.
Okay, so the moral of the story is this. The moral story is this. So, if you win in this game, never feel confident or cocky. Because
I know nothing.
I want you to win.
What is real anymore?
I know, nothing is
So
real.
watch this. If you lose in this game, it's because I want you to lose. That's a 4, right?
Wait a
minute, that was a double-sided card.
It's not it's not double-sided. Here, I'll show you. No, I'll show you in a second. So, that's a 4, right?
Yeah.
The moral story is, watch that, one sec.
What's happening?
Never play 3-card Monty. We have 6 cards.
But how do you get it in your pocket when I'm...
A lot of sleight of hand, a lot of free time.
But your hand didn't go anywhere. It was out here.
Well, you just saw you saw me pinching them on the backside there. I actually, I wouldn't say I screwed that up because obviously you guys are, I would hope, impressed. But it's but you saw me pinching it on the side, so it's like, I mean, it's just sleight of hand. That's what it is.
That's insane.
Wow.
So
That's crazy.
Okay, so before we get too far into the weeds on this one, here, I want you. We're gonna do one more card trick. Or no, we'll do more than one. So
I thought you were gonna ask us to remember the card from before. I was like,
no. Trust me, you don't have to. In this case, actually, I'm gonna have you go ahead and I'm gonna have you sign a card.
Okay.
So just go ahead and sign any card you want.
Okay.
Well, let's pick one with white space on it because people won't see the name on it.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's fine. No, you're good. You're good. I know this ain't my first rodeo. I get it. It's yours. It's fine.
Okay. Just anywhere on it?
Yeah, just nice and big. Just write Carrie nice and big on it so people know there's no other card in the universe that is like that card because and people forget playing cards. This is why I always have people write their name on cards when I do card tricks. You might forget the name of the card that you had. If you forget your name, that's when people would start taking keys away. So all right. So Carrie, what I'm going to have you
do...
do...
That's a good signature, by the way.
Oh, yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
So, are you right or left-handed?
Right.
You're right-handed?
Yeah.
So, hold your right hand up high for me. So, go ahead. I'm going to have you go ahead.
Yep.
So, what I'm going to have you do is you're going to cut the card into the deck. Cut the deck with your right hand. Okay, watch that. Put it there. Okay. That's not your card.
No.
I just want to always make sure. Again, sleight of hand. That's not your card, right?
No.
So you see what I'm doing right now? I showed you the bottom card. That's not your card.
Yeah.
See, in that time period, I did sleight of hand, and I brought your card to the top.
How?
How? Tell me right now.
I'm like a 5-year-old. Like, how did you do it?
Here, grab your card. Okay, I'm going to dribble the cards like so.
Okay.
Say stop.
Stop.
You want to put it there, or do you want to go to a different spot?
I'll do it there.
Okay, put it there. And you can see it's going in?
Yeah.
Okay, so it could be anywhere in the deck, okay? I'll shuffle it a little bit. I'll shuffle it a little bit just to make sure.
Can I shuffle it?
Well, you can in a minute, yeah. So
Like, get out.
No, people ask that stuff all the time. Go ahead. When you pick a card here, don't look at it. Just put it on the table, okay? Go ahead and just take one. Okay, put it on the table. Okay. I shuffled them.
Yeah.
You put it into a random spot in the deck.
Yeah.
But you got the right one.
Oh my God. What the hell?
What is happening? I'm not going to sleep tonight. I'm going to be thinking about this all night. Like, how did that happen?
I mean, like I said, I don't get it either half the time. It's just kind of happens. You were talking earlier about if this is muscle memory or not. You just kind of start going on to a rhythm, and then you get going. So here, I'll put actually, Carrie, you can say stop again like we did before. I like when you put it into the deck because then people think I'm doing something funny with it. Say stop.
Stop.
You put it there. Put it in face down. Okay. Again, you can see it going in there. So we're going to have the jokers.
Yeah.
On the sides. See, I can find the card, but I think it's more impressive when the jokers can find the card. They didn't get it. See, this is why I love Magic, because now I can blame them.
Cut this out if you need to.
No, I can blame the jokers for it. No, but the thing is, I blame the jokers for... If the jokers weren't here, Carrie, I'd be blaming you. So
Okay.
No,
Fair
so... Here, hold your hand. Hold your hand. You're right-handed, like you said, right? Yeah, so watch this. Because yours, what was it, the 2 of hearts?
Yeah.
Okay, watch this. 2 of hearts.
What? This is crazy.
And people always
It
say
is.
the 5, because it was a 5 of spades was the
Yeah.
one I picked wrong. That's not even the card next to that. I mean, I could find the 5 of spades in the deck. It's in the middle there. Here, I'll just cut it out. Because people always were like, where's the card that you just had? It's in the middle. But it's... So yeah, no, we're just rolling here. Hey, you're doing a good job with Magic so far.
Thanks.
This is the first time you've seen Magic up close. You
Yeah.
said, right? You're doing a lot better than most people.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I'd say no. So you're doing a lot better than most people. Here, I know that this might not be caught on the camera, but I think it's time for you to show me a trick. I think that you've learned it that quickly. I think you've learned it that quickly.
I don't think I've learned anything.
No.
She knows
so-
52 card pickup. That's
We'll,
it.
we'll put that card under your pillow tonight, and there'll be a $20 bill there in the morning.
That would be amazing.
It would be, and I'm just going to throw it out there for somebody who might be sitting next to you. I could have said a 50, but I'm going to go ahead and just, but we'll just say 20 for now. We'll say 20. So,
I heard 100.
Yeah.
Just
So
say it.
what I want you to do is I want you to take the, we'll put the mat over there so you really feel official with it. Like I said, I know it might not be caught on the camera, but I want you to go ahead and deal out. Just take the deck and start dealing cards from the top. Just one at a time, just into a pile, okay? And you can deal them from anywhere in the deck, middle, top, bottom. It doesn't need to be all just from the top. Random.
Oh, sorry.
That's the card I was thinking of. No, so that's probably good. Now, so go ahead and put those ones there. I don't want to touch the deck. I don't want to touch the cards. Go move it a little bit off more. I don't want to touch them.
Like here?
So, and then square this pile up. Nice and perfect. Perfect. See, like if you know what?
I'm hired.
If the podcast thing, if you want a different side hustle than podcasts and being a kick-ass real estate person, then you can go ahead and get into being like, I'll get your resume.
Thank you.
So take the deck. Now go ahead and start dealing one at a time.
Flipped over or
No,
down?
face down. Just into a pile. Boom. See, like I said, you know what you're doing.
I'm an amazing assistant. I'm just saying. Real estate doesn't work out.
You know where to find me.
Look out, Magic World.
I'll hit you up on LinkedIn. All right, so now we'll go ahead and we'll pull these cards back to me. I haven't touched them, okay? But now I want the camera to be able to see them.
Okay.
Okay. Just to clarify for everybody who maybe couldn't see it on the cameras, what happened there was you took the deck, shuffled, and then you dealt out the cards from anywhere in the deck you wanted, and I haven't touched them yet,
Yeah.
right? Just so we're on the same page.
Yep.
Okay, so the Jack of Spades and the Ace of Hearts.
Okay.
So, magicians do this thing called double talk. So, like, let's say I wanted you to pick the Ace of Hearts right now, and you picked the Jack. I would say, okay, you picked the Jack, let's remove that. But then if you picked the Ace, I would say, we'll keep that one. They do like a, verbal jujitsu, so to speak, to make you pick a certain card, but you don't notice it because I say it nonchalant. I'm clarifying for you right now. Whatever card that you determine that we're going to pick here is the only one we care about.
Okay.
If you pick the Jack, the Ace doesn't matter. If you pick the Ace, the Jack doesn't matter.
Ace.
You want to pick the Ace?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. So, are you positive?
Uh-huh.
You didn't want to pick the Jack?
No.
Okay. I asked you like 4 times, so I think we're good.
I just want to be really sure.
Again, shuffle deck. You picked the cards, you shuffled and dealt them out. Before you even got here today, I handed Brian a deck of playing cards that's been sitting behind you this entire time.
Okay.
Brian, could you grab that, please? Thank you. You could also be an assistant. And you could see that there's rubber bands on it, so I couldn't even get into this. You could get into it, but it would be hard to get into. I couldn't open it and pull the cards out with the rubber bands on it. Like I told you guys, X marks the spot earlier.
Yeah.
I put a big X on the front of one of these playing cards.
Okay.
I'll put it this way. Now, if we look through this, we'll notice there's a big X right there. But here's the thing. I asked you like 3 times, do you want to switch and change your mind? And if you did,
What the heck?
would have gotten it wrong.
You should pick the Jack.
I should have picked the Jack.
Yeah, and screw me up.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yay.
Good job. Good job.
Because the Jack would have been harder to see the X. That's right in the middle.
So, see, that's not really along the lines that's more like mind reading kind of stuff,
Yeah.
That's more like the art of mind reading and psychology. So I kind of want to, we'll leave the cards for now. Obviously we did some sleight of hand and stuff like that, which is always fun, but I wanted to make sure we did a little bit of mind reading. So before this began, just to clarify, and we'll clarify that there's no funny business going on here. What I asked you to do before the podcast started was you pulled your phone out, you went to Wikipedia, and you looked up an article on your own volition. And you looked up a few, and you didn't really settle on one because it wouldn't search for the right thing or whatever. You were thinking of various things to look up, and then you eventually landed on something with Carrie.
I remember it now.
Yeah, so you got it, and Carrie, I had you pick a word from whatever article of the what did we say it was? It was like 6 million? 6 million articles?
It's a lot.
Okay. Yeah, so we looked up there were 6 million articles on Wikipedia. You went to Wikipedia and you looked it up. And you just looked through that article and you found a random word.
Yeah.
So, and you have it written down. Do you remember the article? Do you remember the word?
Yes.
Okay.
I wrote them down.
Yeah, no, I know you did. Just to make sure, in case
And
you
I didn't hear the word.
No.
Yeah.
She and we didn't. We wanted to make sure that she didn't say it. I wanted to make it just Carrie knew it.
Yep.
Because then I would, if you knew it, she'd be going home saying you told him somehow. You texted it to him.
Yeah.
I've been sitting on it the whole time.
So think of the first letter of the article. Just think of the first letter of the article you searched up.
I don't remember what it was.
Do I say it?
No. Don't say it. Don't say it. Okay, now say it.
Blender?
No.
No. But it was no. Don't. So say what was the first letter of right?
So it'd be B.
It wasn't B.
Show it to him. Show him what you looked up.
Oh. Okay.
I mean, same.
No, you're good.
Same family.
Well,
so
Don't say the word. What's the first
what
letter?
was the first letter?
M.
Because that's what I was thinking that originally. That was what I was thinking originally.
Do you know what the word's gonna be?
Well, I don't. We'll see at this point. Okay, start think of the. We'll come back. We'll come back to that. Okay, we'll come back to that. Think of you thought of a word in a Wikipedia article at random, and I did not set this up.
Just picked it out. Yeah.
It's not the letter R that you're thinking of. I knew that. I said it's not an R. No, semantics. So what was the first letter?
N.
N. Okay. N. No. So let show it to him. Now is the first time you can show it to him. Don't say it. Okay. Do not say it. Okay. N. Think of the next letter. Just imagine you're writing it out. Like imagine your astral, like they like projection. Hopping into my body, and you're writing the letter yourself. Okay. You. Okay, I think I got this. Just keep imagining that you're doing that. Imagine that you are taking this, your imaginary person is taking this from me, and you're like, Finn, move out of the way, dork. I'm going to write this myself. Just imagine that. You could have thought of, 12 billion words we determined? 6 million articles? You thought of what word?
Numerous.
Stop!
How did you do
that? God! And it's spelled right, too.
So do you know what the word was?
Well, like the article?
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Because he was saying a B and then an M. You're thinking blender, so you kind of... I want to say you gave it away. Do you think of the word, like, milkshake? No? Okay, well, just... Can you put an image to it? Put an image to it. Can you put, like, a physical image to what it is?
Okay, got it.
See, I'm seeing... And you put a physical image of a shiny, kind of square object. So it is something like a blender. It's not a blender, but it's like a blender. Mm-hmm. This is more something that you'd see at, like, an adult party. It wouldn't be, like, for smoothies. It'd be more for, like... I'm thinking, like, cocktails and stuff like that. Okay, one sec. I think I got this. So, Brian, close your eyes. Okay. And Carrie, close your eyes too. So this is for the camera. This is for everyone at home, okay? It's now facing the camera so everybody can see it at home. Everyone can see it at home. I want you, Brian, with your guys' eyes closed, to say for the first time what you merely thought of.
Mixer.
Open your eyes.
This is crazy! How did you do that? I mean, you're not going to tell me, but how did you do that?
I will not tell you. I told you how I did the 3-card Monty one.
I still don't understand that one.
Well, I know. Well, that's what you said. It was like, it's like trick cards or whatever. No, it's just way too much free time where you...
It's way too much free time.
Way too much free time. I mean, you take 6 cards like this and you can make it look like it's a real... mind buster. People think it's impossible, and people think this kind of stuff's impossible. It's not. I just did it, but it just takes a lot of practice, a lot of success, but even more failure. It's and that's with hustling, and people like who do hustles in general. I like to think like, okay, it doesn't always work this good, and I'm glad it did, but that's how you get good at whatever profession you're in. You just got to go up in there and just
do it.
Have you ever bombed it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, so I fortunately it wasn't in super high stress situations. Here, keep that card too. But it's then you can tell people, maybe you get a little, what we'll do is you can get like little card frames for those, and those could go up there. That would be perfect to add to the collection. But so I was doing a gig one time for actually it was kind of a big gig. It was for Weyerhaeuser. So, huge forestry company.
Yeah.
And I did a gig, but it was a crowd. It was like a small crowd of like executives and their families. And I used to do a trick where there was a shredder. I had a shredder, and it was like I had 5 envelopes that were unmarked or whatever. And then somebody would take the envelopes and they would like put like $100 bill or like a $20 bill or the driver's license or whatever in there. And they put in a $100 bill, I believe, and I go to start doing the trick, and I realize that the shredder isn't working, and I'm like, this is the start of my show, and the shredder is not working, and the plug-in behind, like I said, this was in like a kind of a fancy-ish restaurant down south, and So I'm like, there's like a table back there and stuff like that that has my props, and it has like, some gifts on it for them and stuff like that. I'm like crawling under this table, my keister facing the crowd. I just started my show. I'm like crawling under a table, and I'm all trying to figure out and plug and unplug this thing, and it's not working. I'm like, what am I gonna do? I'm thinking like, what am I gonna do? And and then one of the people from the crowd says, have you tried like making sure like the shredder's like properly, like, if you guys have a paper shredder, if it's kind of like sticking out of like the bin, it like won't work. And like I was like, oh crap. So then I push it in and then it worked. But then that just really
You're like, it's magic.
And then it threw me for a loop. I screwed up on a few tricks. I always like to say, hey, I hope you guys have me back in the future. And I could just tell the guy was like, okay. I'm like, oh fuck me, you're not gonna have me. Sorry, but it's like you're not gonna have me back in the future. But it's if some parts went well, I don't know. I've never had like a show that has nearly brought me to tears. I've never had that, but I've had just some tough. I had one actually last year, so I'm more experienced now. Like at early January of 2023, I had a show where they just didn't know who they were hiring. They thought it was going to be a stage show, and I thought it was going to be close-up magic, and the emails show that I was right, but they were thinking that it was going to be a close-up magic show, or they thought it was going to be a stage show. I thought it was going to be close-up, and I'm like up there with like all my close-up tricks, and I'm like having to perform these close-up tricks to a stage to a big audience, and it's just like I didn't have because I have like a wireless headset that I use, and I didn't have that. I had like these mics are great. They had like these cruddy handheld mics and stuff like that. I'm like, what the heck? And I remember then afterwards though. Because, and the hard thing with magic is because the people came up afterwards and they were saying how good the show was. And the famous term, never believe your own press. With magic, nobody's going to come up to you after your show and go,
that was garbage.
That was crap. Yeah, no, that was really bad.
You're horrible.
I've only had one person. It was early on. I did a lot of retirement homes. That's like a lot of magicians starting out. A lot of magicians starting out do retirement homes. Great audience. They will be brutally honest.
Oh, really?
Well, a lot of times I'm not even paying attention, but I remember I was like, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. And then a woman said to me, this was like in 2018, 2017, she's like, not really. It's like, oh, God.
When you're 80 years old, you've seen it all.
Oh, yeah. And it's like,
anything.
It's like, oh, no, they're not really, they weren't really on board with that. And yeah, I've had a couple, like the one I mentioned early on in the podcast, that was pretty recent, and I had a huge crowd. It was a great gig and stuff like that, and the show was okay, but, it really threw me for a loop having, like, the whole crowd, like the 100 people in the back where I have 150 people watching and 100 people in the back talking, just throws you off. But other than that, there's other ones I've done, like house parties, and I've, just screwed up on, but, fortunately for paid gigs where cash in hand has happened, nothing too monumentally bad has happened, just hard learning lessons. And then there's been great shows. I've had great shows where I've gotten standing ovations and stuff, and that's like a drug. That's like a drug. That's like a high you're chasing. I'm not to the point yet. Like I mentioned the cruise ship master magician Greg Moreland or Hart Keen. I mentioned those guys. They get standing ovations all the time. And that's because they're doing it. They've been not only are doing it full time, but they're doing it like 15 years plus. Greg Moreland, who I live with, has been doing it since 1982 as his full-time job.
Wow.
Yeah, that's so crazy. If you're not getting...
That's a year after I was born.
If you're not getting standing ovations at that point in your life, then if he was not getting standing ovations now, I'd be like, damn, dude, you're the worst magician ever. Doing it that long, but it's like, no, he's just gets them all the time. So I don't get them that often, and that's where it's like, especially the stage shows, I think they're good, but I've only been doing it for 3 years. So... it's just always a learning lesson. It's
You've
always
been doing this for 3 years.
Well, no, the card tricks and the close-up stuff. No, yeah. I've been doing this like the professional stage shows, like performing for people. I've only been doing those since 2021, really.
What was your jumping point as far as like when you just say, "Hey, I want to actually try this full time"?
Well, it was 2021, really. So I was doing it part time. I was working for the Oregon State Police still with like doing close-up magic and stuff like that. I was just doing it here and there prior to COVID, and then COVID happens, and I don't know what the switch was inside me or whatever the case might be, but
So with the state police, were you doing close-up magic?
No, I was doing. I was doing.
Close-up magic division.
I wish. Trust me, I'd still be there if that was the case. But it's like, yeah, they have healthcare, pension. No, it's so I was an IT guy. Okay. I come from web design and stuff like that, and I did IT for them. I did some record stuff like that. No, they're all cool. They're really cool people. They're still cool with me. But it's the jumping point was 2021 when people started shaking off the feathers. And I mean, there was some ups and downs as far as the COVID stuff was concerned. But 2020 was the year that we were all kind of stuck with the masks on and at home and whatnot. And then it was from there, and that's when I was like, all right, time to really, yes, time to really start doing this and not be scared. Because prior to COVID in 2017, 18, 19, when I was doing it professionally, just part-time, I always thought I needed to have it perfect. I needed to have it perfect. Sure. And then there's analysis paralysis. And that was, we were talking earlier about like Joe Rogan with his podcast. You know, his first podcast looks like it's being filmed on a 144 pixel Nokia phone from 2000. It's like, if anybody at home, if you haven't, watch Joe Rogan just for a minute, watch Joe Rogan episode 1. And it's, and even episode 100, but it's like episode 1, there's no structure to it. It look, obviously Joe Rogan's a very funny guy, and he's obviously what he's done with it. But it's like he just got up there and he just put it on and started recording. So you're gonna screw up. I've screwed up plenty. I still will screw up. Mm-hmm. You saw me holding that card underneath. So it's like, I
thought that was on purpose.
No.
You were trying to.
No. Well, obviously, like I said, but the thing is, and that's why I think magic is a lot of fun when I'm a sleight of hand artist. I don't perform magic tricks. I do sleight of hand illusions, and because everything I'm doing, you just saw with sleight of hand. Yeah. And I feel like people can adapt. Like, people don't feel the need to feel like their ego's being checked when I'm doing sleight of hand. I'm not trying to fool you. I'm just trying to show you.
These aren't cards that turn colors.
Yeah. No, and people can adapt to it a little more. But coming back to my original point, with like 2021, it was a lot of just go out and do it. And you're gonna suck. You're gonna screw up. And I mean, I did a show at a tap house one time, and I had like this big like marker that I wrote like, now I have these like end stands on like my stage when I perform and stuff like that, and I had this big, just like a whiteboard, or like, not a whiteboard, like a big like a sign making board, like you'd see like a football game where they just like write on it like some kind of crude handwriting, and I had like Finn the Magician on it, and it was all like bleeding and it looked so ugly and bad. And that was the show where like people are like falling asleep in the back and stuff. It was deserved. I deserved it. But it's like, that was only I mean, it's only been 4 years since that, and it's kind of exponential, like I think a lot of business, you guys in business, it's like all like, one client turns into 2, but 2 clients doesn't turn into 3 necessarily. It might turn into 4, and then 4 turns into 8. And that's kind of how it was with me. All of a sudden you start getting reviews, you start getting video and testimonials and stuff like that. And that's where we're at now in 2024 and kicking ass.
So with talent, you can rise up.
Yeah, exactly.
With all the other things you might have.
Yeah, just go and do it. And that's the thing is like you're going to... I became so much better at my craft when I realized, look, I'm going to screw up. And when I screw up bad, like at those couple examples I gave, the best thing to think is that's not nearly as bad as the next time you screw up. And I know I've yet to experience my moment where I go to the car, I'm like, should I be doing this anymore? Like you're going to go screw it. Jerry Seinfeld says it best with stand-up comedy. He's like, I could go bomb tomorrow. Jerry Seinfeld gets a standing ovation when he walks onto the stage. Yeah. And he says, I could bomb tomorrow. Anybody could bomb at any point in time. It doesn't matter how much experience you have. So I always look at, with my talent, it's a performing talent, it's a performing service. So there's a lot of like you can observe how much better people have gotten, and I have friends and family, and I'm really appreciative of them, my mentors and stuff, and they're like, we can tell you how far you've come in just a few years. And even looking at myself now in 2024, let's say in 2027, I'm going to be miles above it because I just keep going. Even when I have a good gig or a bad gig, you just keep going. So that's what I think when it comes to hustling and stuff like that. You got to just... A hustler doesn't give up when they fail. Yeah. Failing isn't like you don't become a failure. You fail at things. Failing is an adjective, and it's like you have to fail.
There's that term, fail forward.
Yeah, you fail forward. You know who's lost? Like it was like I saw a statistic. It's like who's lost like 95 professional sports playoff games in basketball. It's like they lost 95 playoff games. They have like, I don't remember if they're not the most game-losing shots ever, but it's like one of the most game-losing shots. You know, like in basketball, you have the buzzer beater shots and you miss it and lose. Michael Jordan. You know, it's like, seriously? Yeah, Michael Jordan has had some of the most game-losing shots because they always put the ball in his hand. And people don't remember Michael Jordan because, oh yeah, Michael Jordan, that guy that loses all the time. No, they remember him as the greatest freaking basketball player of all time. Yeah. So, in any profession, whatever it is, you're gonna have screw-ups, and you're gonna get. As long as you're you got to be tough. You know, you shouldn't be doing hustling in general if you're not tough. Which I think most people, if they're watching this podcast or if they're a hustler themselves, they think they're tough. And if you're tough, you're going to screw up a lot, and you're going to get better because of it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how can we help you get more business?
How do people find you?
Yeah.
So Finn the Magician is the stage name. And I just won't say my last name because I don't want the FBI finding me. But it's like, you know, the Finn the Magician, FinnTheMagician.com, at Finn the Magician on social media, any social media you find. I getting more business, hey, just like, share, and show it to anybody who might be, show the tricks that you saw to anybody that might be looking to have a party, whether it be a backyard barbecue or whether it be a corporate event for 500 people. Just go ahead and reach out, and we'll talk, and we'll find out what is the best idea for you.
And it's been a lot of fun.
This is
and
amazing.
We're going to stay up all night trying to figure out how you did all that.
I know.
And I will, and that's like I talked about, you know, every year I look at myself year after year. I was pretty good in 2021, 2022, so on and so forth. I look at me now in 2024. Hey, have me back in 2025, and we'll see how good I am then.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me, guys.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Cheers.
Cheers.